Hello and welcome to Series 2 of Tech Journey Insights. We are now on Spotify, so you can check out Series 1 on Spotify. My name is Beverly Clarke and I'm joined by my co-host,
Rebecca Franks. Very excited for the second series of Tech Journey
oh
Insights.
yeah,
Yep,
it's very exciting time. So I think let's start off with what's grabbing our attention.
yep. But see now, everything in my world at the moment is there's lots of exciting things going on anyway. Sort of in my world, so I feel like at the moment, what's grabbing my attention is stuff that I'm doing, which seems a bit selfish. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's grabbing my attention is just like things that's going on with my company at the moment and like our successes and things like that. That's what's grabbing my attention.
share them.
I,
Let's hear
I
about
haven't
them.
got I haven't got time to read lots of the news. I mean, I've read all the news like that we're going to discuss in our podcast, obviously, but I don't have time to read the news. But yeah, first one is a personal thing, which is quite a nice thing to celebrate. Is I got shortlisted for the Women in Tech, the We Are Tech Women 100 list, which was fab because like in the email it said it's top 16% of the people that were nominated. So it'd be exciting to see if I make the 100, but if I don't, I was just really happy to be shortlisted because that was just a lovely email to read a couple of weeks ago. I think that was very exciting. We've also got books for Collins have been released. So they've
Excellent,
started to be
excellent.
released. So we've got like the year 7 curriculum and the year 1 curriculum is now available. And then as we go through the autumn term, all of the rest of the years in primary will be released. So that's really exciting. We've just announced that we've won our Innovate UK Creative Catalyst grant for our textbooks for the Metaverse project. So that's been happening. And we have launched prototype 3D programming language. So you can actually program in a 3D environment in your web browser. So there's just all this going on at the minute. And the thing in the news that we do need to celebrate is you got an MBE.
Yes, it's the proudest moment in my career. I am beaming from ear to ear. I've got my investiture coming up very soon, so I've
Oh,
got to get my clothing for that. So that's what I'm doing in
yeah.
my evenings, sort of
Are you
surfing
wearing
up.
a hat? Are you
I
wearing
am
a hat?
going everything,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's either a fascinator or a hat, but there is going to be
mhm,
headgear and a
yeah.
beautiful dress, and it's a winter investiture, so I can hardly wait.
Oh gosh, I think I would just be so incredibly excited about that. I wouldn't be able to control myself like the night before. I'd just be like, I can't believe this is happening.
For me, it's been a year of excitement ever since
Yeah.
finding out about it
Mm.
and then it being announced. And I'm still getting used to being Beverly Clarke MBE, and it's like it's the very best. So
Yeah.
it feels amazing, and I continue to doing all of the work that I do in education. I mean, currently we are the chair of trustees. We're building our charity, Technology Books for
Hmm.
Children, and we're
Mm.
doing that alongside working our day jobs. So
Yeah.
it's an exciting time. It's given me just a bigger platform to share information, to educate, and to raise others up. So,
Yeah.
as I said, I'm beyond proud. I'm really, really happy.
Yeah. I was very proud of you and I found I was like, wow, it's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah, it is a very exciting time. So that's it. So we go through lots of challenges as business owners and all sorts of things that we have to do. But we do get these little moments where we can celebrate and kind of reflect on our achievements before we move on to the next challenge that we have to.
Yeah, I was a previous Tech Women 100 award winner. I did make the
Yes.
100 in
Yeah.
2022, and it was it was an awesome moment. That
Mm.
recognition, I think, with winning awards, with recognition, with an MBE and things like this, it's that recognition makes you feel that everything you're doing is worthwhile and is appreciated.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the top tips I'd share with anyone is to
Mm.
nominate others for awards.
Yeah.
Self-nominate. Some awards allow you to self-nominate. It's
Mm.
very important as part of your career to have that recognition.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people say, I'm happy just doing what I'm doing without the recognition, but the recognition does get you to a bigger audience and allows you to further your work. So that's
Yeah.
part of the importance of awards.
Yeah, definitely. No, it. It's all exciting, and yeah, it is exciting to sort of get recognized and all
Well,
that kind of stuff
fingers
and
crossed,
everything.
and I hope you make the 100
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
have a
we'll see.
fabulous awards dinner in London. Well, I think
Well,
it.
I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm not going to tempt fate. I mean, I'd love to win, but also I am happy that I made the shortlist, which is that's an honor in itself, really.
It needs to be in your LinkedIn.
Oh, well, this is the thing. It's just like I'm not good at this whole putting these things on LinkedIn.
That needs to be on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I know it needs to be on my LinkedIn.
I've made the Computer Weekly long list 2 years
Ah,
running. And
yeah,
that's on my LinkedIn because you're doing work of note.
yeah, it is an achievement. I mean, a lot of people who've got Innovate UK grants have put in their LinkedIn profile, you Innovate UK award winner, and I haven't done that either.
Those
And
are two
apparently,
jobs
it's
to do
really
after this.
hard to get these grants are really hard to get. They are really hard to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is an achievement. All these things are achievements, and we've got to celebrate them
So
definitely.
we celebrate achievements here on Tech Journey Insights. Essentially, our podcast is about meeting, discussing what's going on in the news, dissecting it, giving our opinions, sharing
Mm,
tips, and just sharing our tech journeys and our insights. And we'd love you to join us and share your tech journeys, your insights, and your opinions on what's going on in the tech news because tech is shaping our entire world and is impacting upon each of us personally and professionally. So
yeah.
let's move on to we're both educators backgrounds, we're both teachers, and we've both done many years in the classroom, and we've
Yeah.
been to university, we've got our teaching qualifications, we've done further qualifications. I mean, I've done my senior leadership qualifications, and we've got this disruptive technology, artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
and it is shaping and changing our world. So
Yeah.
I saw an article this week in Sky News, the teacherless classroom effectively is what it was, where young people would no longer have teachers. They would have a headset on and be taught via AI. This grabbed my attention. Loads of questions, and we're going to go into that in a moment. It's literally just bubbling away. Like, what? What's happening? Well, this profession I've trained and worked so hard in is
Mm,
about to change.
yeah.
So I think I've shared it with you. What are your thoughts?
My first thought reading the article was, I can't believe people are paying £27,000 a year to attend this. I don't know enough. I haven't visited the school,
True.
so I don't know. I haven't observed it. I haven't seen what the quality of the education is actually like. So obviously, I don't have an opinion there that is based on that. I've only read the article, and you don't get the full story when you read an article. But that was the first thing that stood out as like, okay, so we're using AI to replace teachers, but this is a private school experiment, really. I think probably is more than anything just to see if it actually works. But what I thought was there's quite a lot of funding out there at the moment to look at AI in schools and things like that. So why are people having to pay £27,000 to be an experiment? Like that was kind of the angle that I took it. I wasn't really thinking about like the wider implication of teachers and are they going to disappear and all that kind of stuff. That was my first thought is okay, they're paying £27,000 to be an experiment because we don't know if this is going to work. But then sort of thinking about it a little bit further, they've got 3 learning mentors in the classroom. Is that right?
Learning coaches.
Learning coaches, okay, in the classroom while they do it. I don't know how the quality of the teaching is being assessed. Like I don't know how the materials are being created in the first place. I think that's something that I would want to question. So the only model that I can kind of relate it to is the Khan Academy model, where they
Hmm.
do have a mastery learning approach, a structure to teach some of the main subjects. I don't know if they have all the subjects now, actually. They definitely have English, maths, and it's a very structured curriculum that you have to master one stage before you move on to the next stage, and you revisit things until you do master it, and then you go up.
Hmm.
So and in the Khan Academy school, as far as I'm aware, from when I read the book about the school, was that they have this. tool that teaches them, and it's quite a robust curriculum that steps them through, but also they've got learning mentors or learning coaches to support them. So it's kind of that model, and potentially, because I know Khan Academy are looking into AI, and they've got their own AI tools, so potentially they're sort of leveraging these ChatGPT word, they're leveraging AI in that way potentially. So maybe there's a really robust structured curriculum there, and the AI is being used to assess and adapt to help them through that path. So potentially that might work, and that might be quite a good thing to use. But I do worry if the learning content has been created by
Yeah,
AI.
it's rigorous enough. I mean, AI is it's generating based upon something that's gone before.
Yeah.
And we are, as human beings, we're social animals. So
Mm.
where is the conversation going to take place? Are we now only having conversations through a headset? I mean, what about just turning and looking at someone else and looking into their eyes, basically, having that conversation and that giggle and exchange
Yeah.
of thoughts with human contact. So I wonder if a big chunk of your day, when you're a young person, spent at school, if that's
Mm.
removed, how is that going to change and shape us? And for me, I think that's a concern, and
Mm.
it could impact upon well-being. And we know that well-being is something we really need to pay attention to, especially
Yeah.
with all of this use of tech.
Yeah.
Also, I'm concerned about the reliance on devices and if this will actually widen the digital divide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
already families are paying 27 grand a year to put their children into schools where this
Mm.
experiment is taking place, but that
Yeah.
isn't going to be for everyone. So
Mm.
if this is part of the future, what happens to those people who don't have that access?
Mm.
So there's a few different conversations going on, and they're all valid, I would say. Also, what about things like behavior needs? Is that what the learning coach is there for? Different learning styles. How adaptable is this AI that's been created? This learning AI. So I'm quite curious.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious. I'd love to go and observe and just see how it is all working, to see. I definitely want to know about the curriculum and see how structured it is, and if it's just all AI generated curriculum, because that does worry me, because I have seen some of the AI generated curriculum content that's out there, and
Mm,
it's nowhere near the standard it needs to be at this point for it to be used properly in a classroom without a teacher spending some time really adapting it for their learners.
mm,
So yeah, that is a bit concerning there, but I'd be interested to see how it works. I mean, like our textbooks for the metaverse project that we've got the Creative
yeah.
Catalyst funding for, it is about designing a learning experience in a 3D world. So that would be it's not going to be a headset thing, it is going to be on screen. So headsets are great, and I think they have their place for the virtual reality stuff, but they don't suit everyone, and there's like a time limit on how long you can have those headsets on and things like that. So we've gone for the screen version, but it's still 3D, and you're walking around and you're learning things as you're going along. So over the next 6 months through this project, we really are going to learn, can people learn successfully in this
Mm,
way? That's what we're going to find out. We're going to prototype it in schools and find out. So I am in this space. I do have like a belief that learners hopefully will be able to learn in this scenario, but on well tested content that's
yes.
been tested on a wide range of learners. So that's what we've got to be careful on, that it's not just designed for one type of learner, like it needs to be
That's
designed.
very important. Yes, the diversity of learning and the
Yeah.
diversity of education. We really, really need to be sort of mindful of that with
Yeah.
sort of new invention is coming up. But I'm really excited. Your textbooks for the metaverse. If at the very least it's got a great name.
Well, that's it. But I mean, we'll see. And the thing is, our project will see if it does work. And we are targeting. lots of different types of learners. We're going for we're linking with a school in Salford. We're linking with a vocational school. We've also got links with a hospital learning school as well. So
Mm.
we're looking, and homeschoolers too. So we really are looking at a wide range of learners to see what impact it will have. And it might fail spectacularly, but at least we'll have learned something along the way. But I mean, if it works,
What a
then
revolution if it works. Excellent.
exactly, yeah. But I mean, I don't want to just put tech in front of kids and just assume it's going to work. I want to really have the
Absolutely no
research
way. No.
behind it. We're spending a lot of time looking into new research into immersive learning and where it's successful so that we can really try and develop something.
But
So,
when
yeah.
we thinking back to when we ended the last series, we were
Mm,
talking about screen free, the impact upon our childhoods just being on mobile phones, and just something you just said there about the amount of time spent on screen and how we're going to balance this across
mm,
the school day just made me think, because this conversation hasn't gone away and it's back in the news again. And
yep.
there's a couple of articles on the BBC News about there's a celebrity pair, Matt and Emma Willis, and they're
Mm,
in an experiment of giving up their phones to
mm,
see the impact of this. And I may have mentioned this before, but when I was teaching, and teaching is a demanding job,
yeah.
on the weekends, I would have a day where I wouldn't use my phone.
Mm,
Now, those days seem to be far away because everything I need I do, I seem to need a device for.
yep.
So it does have to be balanced, because if you've got 5 lessons, say, for example, across a day as a student, and
Mm,
every lesson uses 20 minutes where you're on screen,
yeah.
this is adding up. And then what do you do before school and after school, and even scanning on to public transport? You may be having to look at your device. It's all adding up. And the
Mm,
I do believe there's effects on the eyes. I mean, I certainly suffer that. And also, it's just, it makes my eyes dry. So
yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more problems. We're going to see more headaches. So we're back
Mm,
to health and well-being, and
yep.
we're living in an age of experimentation, really.
Yeah, well, we're all being experimented on really in lots of
We
different ways.
are.
Yeah, that side of it is a bit worrying, but we are living in a society now where it's almost impossible to not have a smartphone because you just have to use them in so many different
Yeah.
parts of your everyday life. So just banning smartphones probably it isn't the solution for some areas because you've got to learn how to use tech responsibly. But also, if you haven't got a smartphone, how are you going to get on the bus if your bus ticket is on your phone?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Yesterday morning in the news, there was an article, another news clip on banning phones and
Mm,
the impact of phones on children and all of this. But then following that, there was a clip where there was a child in hospital who was able to check their levels, their insulin levels, through using their smartphone. So
yep.
you've got the phone being used for good there, and on the other
Mm,
hand, we're talking about banning phones. So then I thought, oh, that's interesting. Those two clips went back to back there. So
mm,
perhaps what we need are phones, especially customized phones or something.
yep.
And it really made me think. I thought, well, that's an interesting one. Thinking about our charity also, Technology Books for Children. I've got some brand new flyers here today.
Yeah, show me.
Oh,
Oh,
there we go. There we go.
very cool.
So these will be appearing somewhere close to you very soon. The reason we set up the charity was for children to read for pleasure on tech topics. So
Mm,
those formative years, age 4 to 14, and it's not in school only, it's at home as families reading for pleasure about tech. So what it
yep.
isn't is to just learn about one thing in tech. It's about tech just built into everyday life. It's impacted upon us, the possibilities also. There are lots of
Mm,
possibilities, and it's to spark the imagination, to get creativity going, and to get those conversations really happening. Because if we're all living in this experiment, we need to consider what is actually going on.
oh,
So do
definitely.
head over to the website technologybooksforchildren.org and have a look around. Suggest
Mm,
books to us also. I mean, I think that's really important if we just start
mm,
having these conversations. So that's us sort of breaking new ground with it. I'll
yep.
tell you something, talking about living with tech. I had an amazing experience this summer. I flew across to the US on my holidays, summer holidays, and I got to go in a self-driving taxi. I
I
didn't just do it
saw this.
once.
I saw a picture of this. Oh, yeah, I think it was a picture, wasn't it? I can't remember if it was a video as well. Was there a
I've got a
video?
video too. I'll
Yeah,
share it.
yeah. And I was like, oh dear, this looks a little bit scary.
It was, it's an experience. So
Yeah.
basically, think Uber, the way you'd order your Uber. Same
Mm,
thing, you're just ordering a taxi that turns up without a driver.
yeah. What I've just realised actually, you know what? I think I would feel safe. I know this like no, I do get quite scared going in taxis on my own. And like because women's safety and all that kind of stuff. I don't know actually, would I feel safer to trust a robot? I don't know. I've never actually questioned it in that way before.
Just in case anyone is wondering what's dancing behind Rebecca, it's her dog.
My dog wagging its tail. Yeah, but that's it. Like I won't because like that's the thing where you as a woman you have to think about personal safety and sometimes sorry, my screen's going.
Yeah, you
There,
can,
it's back in focus.
that's tech for you.
Yeah, so like I very, very rarely take taxis on my own just because like I'm a bit nervous about doing that. But maybe if it was a driverless taxi, I don't know. Is it
Well, you
safer?
have a very good point because that
Yeah,
one hadn't occurred to me. I was just so
yeah.
excited by getting in the taxi. But you, we've had so many horrific stories in the news where we've
Mm,
had rogue taxi drivers.
yeah,
This would eliminate that.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I mean,
also,
yeah,
yeah,
and that's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying that all taxi drivers,
oh,
not
no,
not all
no,
taxi
no, no.
drivers at all. I've had some lovely taxi drivers and that go, but I have had bad experiences in
Mm,
taxis before, driving too fast, not wearing the seatbelt, running red lights. I've had bad experiences in taxis,
mm.
and that's why I don't feel comfortable being ta in a
The
taxi on
driving
my
too
own.
fast one, I've had that a few times, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
horrible.
And being on their phone and looking like messing about with their phone when they're meant to be driving and things
Safety,
like that.
safety, yeah.
That the whereas if it was like a you knew it was a safe driverless taxi, and that's the thing, it's just it's being able to trust the technology then.
The brakes worked, I can tell you that. The streets in San Francisco are hilly, and
Yeah,
when the brakes were applied, it's like, bang,
yeah.
and
Wow.
you have to wear your seatbelt.
Yeah.
So there's no giving on that. I don't know what would happen if you didn't wear it for the entire journey. I didn't test that. I just want to be safe, so I put it on.
Yeah.
But maybe it will just stop, and I think it probably would stop and pull over
It
and
probably
say,
would, yeah, because
yeah,
it can detect whether you've got it on or off, can't it? So I would
yeah. I mean, I
imagine
guess
it
you
would
could
detect.
just sort of clip it in and not sit with it, but that's all a bit daft if you really want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an
Yeah.
experience. I mean, I've written a
Yeah.
blog on LinkedIn, but it's very, very exciting. Now, I've got another one. I saw an article. We've got Wales here. If anybody overseas listening, Wales is attached to part of the United Kingdom, so on the west side, and there's rural parts in Wales, and they were using drones to deliver sort of food parcels and lots of other things to rural parts of Wales. And I just wondered, there must be some level of connectivity. So it isn't that rural. I mean, how are these drones working? And I'm very
Hmm.
curious. I really haven't seen drones embedded into education quite a lot. And I mean, I've flown a drone once and I flew it into a tree and had to come back up to get a rake out of the tree. So I won't be doing that again. So my drone flying technique is not great,
Yeah.
but I've got new skills in flying drones properly, or do we just program them before and then they just fly off? And again, this connectivity, the reliance, and I do believe there is an environmental ticking time bomb taking place with
Yeah.
this total reliance on technology. I don't know what your thoughts were. I've got a lot going on there. You know, climate issues, to skills to work with drones. You know, there's a whole lot there. I just wondered what was happening.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And I think drones definitely have their place. Unfortunately, they've been used in wars and things like that, which is obviously a
Mm,
horrible use of tech, really, when you think about it. But they do have some really positive things, like finding I'm sure we looked at an article in our last series about them finding people lost on mountains and things like that. We had a chat about it anyway
Yeah,
at some point.
we chat a
But
lot.
but that kind of thing is a really positive use, isn't it? Because you
Yes.
don't want humans to go into dangerous situations, or even dogs, sending dogs out into dangerous situations as
Oh,
well.
yes, it was a dog. It was a dog rescued
Yeah, it's something
by
like that. And it
drone.
was,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, that was the one. Yeah, the dog was being rescued by the
Yeah.
drone. Yeah, I remember now. But yeah, but if we can send a drone to do it and go into those unsafe areas and try and find people, then that's got to be an advantage, hasn't it? Because it's helping humans and animals as well. So that's a really good use of it. But yeah, we do have a ticking time bomb here with the technology and it being used for bad, really,
Mm.
for all sorts of things. And then we've talked in the past about data centers and all those sorts of things, yeah, and climate change and how it's all going to impact that, and how do we sort of recycle things and make sure
Mm.
that we're reusing technology and we're not just throwing it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So there's
E-waste, big problems with e-waste. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, definitely. So, but I do think there are lots of positive things that we do with drones, and my favorite use is the Disneyland Paris drone display.
Of course, we share that. Yes, we share that
Yes.
in series one. Yes.
So yeah, there are some lovely things that you can do with drones for good. But yeah,
Drones for good.
yeah,
That's it. And
there we
actually,
go.
talking about how tech is used, this is
Mm,
the Twitter blue sky versus each other. I've
mm.
noticed a decline in people using Twitter
Yes, definitely.
for
Yeah,
good, but a
yeah,
surge in the disinformation on Twitter. I mean,
yeah.
personally, I have used Twitter less because there's so much toxicity. And I've been
Mm,
experimenting with blue sky. And I know for educators and for people who believe in fairness,
mm,
there's a lot more people moving over to blue sky, which
mm,
there is in that extremism going on. So,
mm.
I mean, where do we sit with our social media? Who's controlling us?
Yeah, I always find that quite disturbing in a way,
Mm,
because my husband and I, we both go on TikTok a little bit. But if we'll watch the same video, and if you look at the comments, I
mm,
will get at the top completely different comments to what he
mm.
will get on his comments. And it's because the comments are tailored to sort of what you're reading. So
Uh,
what you, and even if it's something that shocks you, when it's something that shocks you, you do tend to sort of pause on it and read it a bit longer, because you're like, really? And
mm,
then you get shown more and more of what shocks you. So you might not agree with what is being said, but you're being fed more of it. So then you get sort of more sort of, it's the toxic side, isn't it, of
nine. Yeah.
and only seeing kind of one side of stuff. So we noticed that, and then like I talked to my son quite a lot about this, because he's in that age group where you hear all sorts of things about social media
Mm,
and young boys being manipulated into misogyny and that kind of stuff. So I'm always talking to him about, well, what kind of comments does he see and that kind of
yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah, very
What is
important.
he being fed? And we do have like open and honest conversations about that. And actually, he hasn't had a lot of it lately. Like he did get a lot I think it was well, whenever the whole Andrew Tate thing
Andrew Tate
started.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I don't know, I can't even remember how long ago it was now, 2, 3 years ago, when I know chess became this huge thing in schools, and it came out that it was to do with Andrew Tate and chess.
Mm,
And there was all these sort of misogynistic conversations going on social media around this game of chess. So people were thinking, oh yeah, kids are really into chess, and actually no, they
but
weren't. They were being sort of fed all of this.
manipulated.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
and it's scary, really. You do really need to keep an eye out for this stuff. But yeah, he doesn't get a lot of that anymore, because I'm assuming he's looking at different things and he's not getting shocked or whatever. And he's having different conversations in different networks now. So he's getting fed more positive things, which is great. But that's why it's really important you talk to kids about social media and you're open about it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that you understand that you're being manipulated. And I think this is it. Like if I'm on TikTok or something like that, and I suddenly start to get a bit angry about something,
Mm,
or my viewpoint changes a little bit, I'm like, why did that happen? You have to kind of step back and think, probably should come off probably should come off now for a
Yes,
minute.
well-being, very,
Yeah.
very important.
Exactly.
Almost to the end of this
Mm.
podcast episode today. So, have you got a tip, just one tip that you'd like to share with our listeners? Because it is Tech Journey Insights after all. So,
Yeah.
one tip.
So one tip for business ownership and things like that is if you are going for grants, it is going to take you a while to get your first grant. I mean, we went through 16 grant applications before we got Innovate UK Creative Catalyst grant. So it is about perseverance in that sense and just learning how to write them and all that kind of stuff. And I did see a female entrepreneur doing a talk, and she actually said, if you write 50 grant applications for the same thing, you've probably got a bad idea if nobody's giving you some money at that point. So I did have that kind of feeling in the back of my mind. Well, probably when we get to 50, I'll go, oh, let's rethink this twice
Magic number.
again. Yeah, that's my number. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, keep going, but maybe stop at 50 and pivot to something else if you haven't
Okay.
got anything by then.
Well, I've got one for you. So, it's something I've lived my life by for quite a long time now. And it's, if you want something that you've never had before, you're going to have to do something different to get it.
Yeah.
And I apply that to almost anything. So if it's a new job or you want a promotion, whatever it is that you want, or you want to develop something, you're going to have to do something different. So just doing the same thing will not yield results. So it's all about reflection, considering what you need to do, pivoting.
Yeah.
So think of it like being on one bank and there's a river and you've got to get to the other side. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so consider your options to get to the other side. Those
Definitely.
are our tips today. Thank you so much for joining us on Tech Journey Insights with me, Beverly Clarke, and
Rebecca Franks.
And we'll see you again very soon. We are on YouTube, on Spotify, on TikTok, and you can also get hold of us individually if you'd like to work with us on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Blue Sky, all of them, Instagram, at Ms. B. Clarke. That's MSB Clarke. And Rebecca, you are on...
The best place to find me is on LinkedIn, and you'll find me Rebecca Franks on LinkedIn. Hopefully you'll find my picture when you search for my name.
Yes, you'll find us exactly as we are. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for listening and see you again soon.
Bye.